Hey fellow wanderers, it's me, I'm back. Sorry if my mic just made a weird noise. I made this video a little while earlier and it turned out that my mic wasn't plugged in, so you wouldn't have been able to hear me, but hopefully you can hear me now. This is another installment in the YouTube Pagan Challenge. The topic is, do you have a matron or patron, and how did you find them if you do? I don't really have a single matron or like anyone I would consider a patron, really. I'm kind of building my own pantheon at the moment, using already existing gods and goddesses. But I have no doubt that as my practice grows and continues, I'm probably going to create my own deity at some point. But, you know, right now, since I still consider myself very much a student, and hopefully I'm always kind of a student, but I just consider myself still very firmly in I know nothing as far as that goes. Yeah, so at least until I reach a point where I feel a bit more confident that I know enough about mythology to create my own deity or to feel the need to create my own deity, I'm good with already existing ones. Anyways, so I have a few that I do work with loosely. I have one in particular who reaches out to me and interacts with me on the astral plane and in dreams and things like that. So let's just get started. Hold on, I'm gonna get a drink real quick because I'm very thirsty. Okay. And yes, I do drink this much water a day. That is a very necessary size bottle. Anyways, getting back to the point. Okay, so, hold on. I'm vain, I gotta look at myself. Anyways, so, the first deity that I ever really picked was Caradwyn. My other deity was Hearn, but I never really interacted with them much. I just kind of felt like I had to have somebody, and so if you are in that predicament, I guess, if you feel like you have to have a god or a goddess in order to practice, just don't feel like that, because there will be deities that will appear to you, and they might disappear over time, but no matter who they are or what they do, they're always going to be important to you. But just don't pick names out of a hat and go with it, because your magic is going to lose its magic, I guess. It's really hard to explain, but it'll lose its luster, and it'll turn into what feels like a job if you don't really feel connected to what you're worshiping or what you're doing. So just, take some time, do research if you have to, but yeah, just don't feel like you have to pick a name out of a hat and work with it. Just do what feels good for you. So, I still don't work with Caradwyn. I don't consider her, important to me. I picked her and kind of didn't even really use her, so moving on. There's only one goddess that's actually kind of reached out and I've had kind of a magical experience with, and that's Rhiannon. I kept hearing her name, and I didn't even know that she was a goddess. I just kept hearing her name come up in conversation, just regular conversation. For a long while, I thought that if I had a daughter, I would name her Rhiannon, and I thought that was just what it was, but there was this very urgent need to do something with that name, and so I feel like it was kind of cosmic and instinctual, pulling me towards this name to do research on it and figure it out. Finally, my mom and I are listening to Rhiannon by Stevie Nicks, or written by Stevie Nicks, performed by Fleetwood Mac. But I was singing it, and my mom goes, Rhiannon is such a beautiful name. I wish I had named you Rhiannon. And so, finally, I was just like, fuck it. I was hearing it in my dreams. I'm hearing it in real life. My mom is real. I feel like there's something cosmic going on, so I did some research. Fuck off, Siri. God. Anyways, I kept hearing it in real life and everything. So, I did research. I just looked up Rhiannon goddess. I was curious to see if there was anything, or maybe I put in Rhiannon mythology. I thought maybe they are a character in a mythology that is going to be important to me or something like that. So, I did find out she is a goddess. I think she's Welsh. It's been a while since I've done research on her, but, to me, she is like the goddess of not the underworld, but like the other world. She guards the veil between our world and the other worlds, that like where gods reside and mythological creatures reside and our spirit guides reside. So like astral planes and a bunch of other places. And I always know if a dream is going to be prophetic because she'll either show up or a symbol of hers, like the horse or the crow or a raven or something like that, will show up, and I will know that, okay, I should pay attention because there's a messenger here, and so if there's a messenger here, that means that there's a message, and so I need to just keep my eyes and ears open, and, typically, it always comes true. Like, it always has. So, I've learned to trust those signs. She interacts with me more than I interact with her, and I do feel like she very much kind of like has a soft spot for me. Like, she's like, you're a little piece of shit and you're too lazy and whatever, but I don't know what it is about you. I cannot not help you. You're a disaster waiting to happen. That's kind of how I feel like she interacts with me. There's like a certain energy there. Almost kind of motherly, but yeah, so that's Rhiannon. Then in high school, I did kind of feel very called to Freya, but not in the same way as Rhiannon. Freya is more like an older sister that kind of like kicks you in the ass when you need like a really long, hard look at your life to figure out what the fuck you're doing wrong. I feel like she also kind of represents like who I was when I was in high school. I was kind of a bitch. Lots of people didn't like me. I think that, like, the majority of my friends didn't even really like me, but they put up with me, so whatever. But yeah, to me, like, she kind of epitomizes who I perceived myself to be at that point in time. And I love Freya. I love everything that she represents. To me, she is the goddess of love and war. I feel like, I'm a Libra, so, kind of goes along with like the goddess of love and everything ruled by Venus, and so basically like everything about beauty, love, things like that, the aesthetic of love and romanticized ideas and things like that, that is where I feel very, very comfortable. But I find that when I'm backed into a corner, I can be really, really vicious, and so I do feel like that's part of the reason why Freya matters to me so much. But again, I don't really do a lot to work with my deities. They typically like reach out to me. But I know that they're there and I feel them, I feel their energy around me every now and then, like a sign, like, hey, figure your fucking life out. I don't know. But I do really want to like begin working in a capacity where I am doing daily devotionals, or maybe not daily, but like on special days that are associated with characteristics of that deity, doing devotionals for them that day. But yeah, I just don't really do anything right now, and I don't see that changing really that much in the future, the near future, based off of where my life is right now. So yeah. But then there's when I got my DNA test and everything, and I had like this huge reveal from my great grandmother before she passed that we are Romani. I felt like my DNA test really affirmed that suspicion or whatever. I mean, she said a lot of shit, and so I couldn't have really taken everything that she said, as complete truth. Because she lied a lot. But, my DNA did come back with, higher than expected percentage for Middle Eastern ancestry. It's not very high, but it's higher than my Scandinavian ancestry, which should tell you something. So, but yeah, so I wanted to feel connected to that culture in some way, so I was looking up pantheons for deities in Romani culture. Now, the thing about Romanis is they were kind of religious chameleons. They kind of took on whatever religion of the place that they were in that was most popular in order to acclimate quickly and to probably more easily sell their wares. If they were also the same, if they were the same religion as everybody else around them, then people were more likely to trust them, I guess, and more likely to do business with them, as well as less likely to try and kill them and exterminate them or whatever. But that didn't always work out, but at least it worked out for business, I guess. So it was very, very hard to find any information on Romani pantheons or anything like that. But I did find a few sources that gave me kind of a very short list of deities or spirits or whatever that they incorporated in their culture. One of them was what they called Black Kali. So I looked up Black Kali because there wasn't really any like Wikipedia page or link or anything for her specifically. So I looked her up, and I found an article that said, you know, they worship this deity called Black Kali. She's kind of a incarnation or like their version of Kali Ma, the Indian goddess of death and destruction. And she's also a mother. And but she was basically one and the same. They just called her by a different name. So I just fell in love with her. I found her mantras in the mornings when I do wake up. She's probably the only goddess that I like kind of do mantras with and work with. But I love her energy. I love what she stands for. I love what she represents. And so, yeah, there's Kali. And she's more recent. Not very long after Kali, I discovered Thoth. I kind of find that even though like my ancestry puts me in the Middle East, at least like 5 or 6 generations ago, I find I'm very attracted to some of the cultures around that area. So Egyptian and Indian and other Eastern countries. Sorry, my cat wants to come say hello. Oh, does he miss me? Did I not say hello to you when I came home? Does you need me to tell you I love you? But yeah, so I feel like Thoth is very significant to me because he's the first male god that's appeared to me that has... Are you thirsty? There's water out there. She won't drink water out of a water bowl. She's so freaking weird. She's gonna drink my condensation off of my water bottle. That's fine. But he's significant because he's the only male god who's appeared to me. He's the only male god that I have on my radar at all. And I also feel like he represents a very significant part of me. The kind of rational, philosophical, let's talk about this as a... I can't think with her doing that. She's so weird. Oh, is it sweet Kit Kat? But yeah, so I do feel very connected with Thoth. I've done a little bit of research on him. I'm pretty vague on him right now, but I do feel like he's another one that I'm going to incorporate very much in my practice. I do feel like he appears to me as well in dreams occasionally, but mostly he has to do with my relationship with myself. than my relationship with other people. He's not a prophetic dream person. He's a, let's figure out what's going on in your, deep, dark psyche and work it out. So, my cat is just so, like, she's so dramatic. Gosh. She can't figure out what she wants to do. But yeah, so those are all the gods and goddesses that I kind of work with, that work with me, that mean something to me, that I want to incorporate in my practice in a very significant way. I hope that this answers the question. I know that, like, I just don't work with deity very often enough to have a lot to say on this. I hope this video isn't very long, or that I'm not rambling too much. Sorry, the camera is shaking. The cat is playing with the wires behind my monitor. So, oh, she stole my hair thing. You can't have it. And there's your butt, so everyone can see. Anyways, I'm gonna let you go now. Keep on wandering. I love you guys. Bye.